YouTube. I am here with some Stage 2 tips. How do we do well in Stage 2 of the KC Cup? What decks will do well? What should you bring tomorrow? I know everyone's panicking, and I'm going to teach you some tips if you've never played in a Stage 2 before. So you're going to want to watch this video if you have not played in Stage 2 of a KC Cup. Alright, so let's go over what to expect. I'm going to want to make some notes here. So give me a second. I'm going to put up a notepad. It's not really a notepad. I should say it's more of a... Well, actually, I could do it like this. So it can actually kind of work out in a way. Let's do this. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted. I want to open up Notepad here, and we are going to go and do this. Alright. Now, you see my big head here upon this big white sheet of paper, it looks like. Let's do a test message. Okay, so it works. Alright, so we're going to talk about what to expect in Stage 2 here. Alright, so the first thing you need to know is, for those who've never played, is Stage 2 is broken down into 3 days. Okay? Friday, which is day 1. Saturday, which is day 2. And Sunday, which is day 3. Now, to most, that sounds completely obvious. Like, okay, Sean, why are you telling me the obvious? The reason why, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, because this is going to be a little bit too long to understand. You're not going to, not too long to understand, but you're not going to see the full picture here. Okay? So that's the first thing we need to talk about. It's broken down into 3 different days. Alright, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Alright, number 2. Stage 2. Okay, let's talk about this first. Alright, so it's broken down into 3 days. Alright, day 1, day 2, and day 3. It's a 72-hour event. Now, does that mean you play all 72 hours? Absolutely not. If you play this game for 72 hours straight, you will mentally be drained. Not that this drain you mentally anyway, but you're going to really get mentally drained on the KC Cup. So this is the first time you're playing. Make sure you take rest. So like most people, like I know me and my boy, I'll huge shout out to my boy Steven in this video. We generally play for about 12 hours, and then we'll rest. You know, maybe like around 8-10 hour period, and then jump back on. The reason why is it's very important to get rest. You have to rest. It's not even that. If you play this game for like 18-19 hours, you are going to start misplaying because your mentality behind the game is not going to be good. Your mind's not going to be fresh. You're going to start dozing, and you're not going to start seeing everything that you would on a fresh mind. So make sure you are taking days of rest here, okay? So that's very important. Alright, now we're going to talk about the different days, the different things that you on a basic level that you need to know. Alright, in Stage 2, as your DP, as you win duels, your DP goes up. Alright, that means plus 1,000 into the positive range. And as you lose, DP goes down. Now, 1,000 is generally the range. Generally up and down. There are some times that you get in a higher range. If you lose a duel, you'll go like 1,200. Sometimes you'll gain 1,200 because somebody's better than you or 1100 or 1050 because somebody was higher ranked than you, so you gain a little bit more for winning that duel. But this is just the standard, okay? This isn't perfect science. I can tell you, probably as you approach like the 30Ks, you're going to end up like with something like 34, 50, 24, 50, 55, something along those lines. Nobody has perfect DP, so nobody has like 6,000. You're going to lose to somebody who is lower or higher than you. This is going to happen. This is what it is. And that's what that is. Okay? So, you win, you go up. And you lose, you go down. However, if you are below 10k DP, then your DP will dive less than 1,000. And this is to make sure, this is a really good feature, just to make sure that people can get out of that range. You don't want somebody to go down too low in the lower ranks, because then that's when you start to get unmotivated and not wanting to play anymore. And that's not really good. So you want to keep people interested in the event. Okay, so this is good. So if you're starting off and you just start off in the KC Cup and you're starting to climb, then this is something you wanted to know, because that's how that's going to work indefinitely. Okay, so this is something you want to know. If you're below 10k, then your DP will dive less than 1,000 or go down. I should write this. Go down less than 1,000. Okay, could be 900, could be 700, could be 600. I don't know that exact number. It depends on where you are and the opponent you face. There's a lot of unknowns in that, which we call in mathematics. For those who are wondering, I'm currently in calculus. So we call this like the unknowns and stuff like that. So it's like, you can't calculate everything in there. There's a lot of unknowns. Okay, so that's the basics. Now, as we go further, there are what I consider different levels, different days. We want to talk about what happens on different days. Now, you may say, it's a 3-day event, 72 hours. What do you want? What could happen? Well, other than you playing 3 days. Alright, we got to talk about KC Cup meta. Alright, now if you've never played in the KC Cup, you will not understand how the different days generally work. Day 1, everyone is generally fresh. Playing at their best. And you get tough competition early. Alright, so generally my best strategy here, play a fast deck to about if you're climbing the 20-25k, play something fast. Do not play a deck that will take you agonizingly long to win early, because it's a good way to get drained before you can even get started. So, good fast decks in this meta would be Burning Abyss. That's a pretty good fast deck. I would say something along the lines of, we're kind of in a control meta, so not too many fast decks. Infernoids could get fast wins. I would put them in that category. Even Ancient Gears. Ancient Gear, I know a lot of people are going to discount this, but Ancient Gear is a really good solid choice early. It's a really good solid choice that goes under the radar, so that's a deck you could even play. Megaton can punch the hell out of Salads, and if they don't have the God Hand, they will struggle to beat Howitzer turn 1, and Fortress is a monster there, so that's something you can even consider. Merlantian, the deck that I got second place with, that's a deck that's been popping around. Still a reasonably good deck, but, that's a deck you can climb with fast, but definitely something fast. You want to play fast up to about the 20-45k range, alright? And it's also, if you're looking to take a break somewhere, that's a good place to break. Anywhere in the 20-25k range, if you say, okay, I got here, I'm going to go to sleep, that's a good place to sleep, alright? For me, what I'm going to do for those watching me, I'll tell you more of my strategy as we get through the video and how I'm going to stream this. And I am streaming all 3 days. So make sure, if you want to watch me, I'm pushing for top 100 global. I'll tell you all about it and once I get done with the video. But I definitely want you all to come watch me. All right. Day 2. All right. So day 2. Oh, I want to add this in. Most people on day 1 cap out around 30 to maybe 31k to 34k at the max. Yeah, nobody really gets those over 34 to 35k like generally on day 1 at that point, except the real extreme people. You might see like top 3 global to go like 50 to 70k or something like that. I mean, not 57, more like 40 to 50k on day 1, 40 to 50. So the top 3 global may end up in that. But if you're in this range of like 28 to 34k on day 1, you're right around top 100 global 99% of the time. So that's why you say around 28 to 33, 34 is around top 100 global. So there you go. All right. Day 1. All right. So let's talk about day 2. And this is where it begins to get a little bit complicated. So you have to bear with me here. We will be deleting some text as we progress in this video. But just bear with me here. Just to make room. Day 2 is when the meta begins to change. Now, the one thing you need to understand here, alright, is now you may say to me, what the hell do you mean, Sean? Or heck do you mean? What the heck do you mean? How can the meta change? The meta is the meta. No. There is the KC Cup meta. Alright, when you take... How many people would I say play a KC Cup? Maybe 5, maybe 10,000. I don't know if that's correct. Well, whatever. If you take a ton of people who play a KC Cup and you throw them all in, all these top players, what you get around the top parts, you get to a scenario where everyone starts to counter everyone, and everyone starts to try to find counters to what the meta is at the time being. So the meta begins to shift, and people start putting counters in their deck. Especially a lot of the Japanese players, all of my friends over there, much love. They are generally ahead of the curve. So you might start seeing text come on that we haven't expected or we haven't seen a lot in tournaments. Also, a lot of other players from over here, like America, Europe, everyone starts throwing their text in soon, and then the meta begins to shift. Or sometimes you get an event where you get a rare random KC Cup deck that shows up, like a brand new deck that somebody invents at the KC Cup, and it goes viral, and then you start to get the KC Cup surprise deck that nobody expects. I know that happened like a few years ago with Block Dragon. Block Dragon was one of those decks. I believe it was Dueling Ace who came out with it. I'm not sure. But in that, quickly shot up on the ladder. In 72 hours, people began to clap. And the meta shift. So, that was something to take into account. So, day 2, the meta begins to change. 30, I would say this. Watch out for new decks. Unexpected text, and you may have to adjust. Alright. So that's something you may want to watch out for. So that's what I would say. And it's a good time to really push. And the reason why I say this is because you are going to be rested for day 1. So this is a good day where you can make some hedge fund. Alright, so this is the day where you can start to really push. Day 1, you want to get up to like 25, 30, breathe, and then day 2, you can really push. That's where I like to put a lot of my effort in. Day 3 is Zombie Day. As everyone would say, this is Zombie Day. However, I found day 3 to be ridiculously hard, but then that's because you're at around 40k. It's gonna get hard. Because that's when everyone with good players show up and they're not, you know, playing like donkey ass like everyone else in the ladder can be. So, that's day 3. Day 3 is what we call Zombie Day. And that, if this thing ever wants to work correctly. Alright. Zombie Day is when everyone is tired, misplays can happen, but if you're energized, you can climb. Also, you need... So, can be difficult when you're in the 40s and 50s. Because that's when everyone... Because that's where top players will be heavily focused. Alright? So those are the things you need to realize on day 1, day 2, and day 3. Alright? And you might have to make some deck adjustments around that time. Alright, so I'm going to delete all this, and we're going to get on to the next part. So if you need to write all this down, write it down. But we're going to get on to the next part here, which is deck choices. One thing you need to know is this is best of one. So people will run side deck decks in the main. Alright, so that is something you need to understand. All best of ones. 2. You will... 2. Choosing the deck. Now, let's talk about what is, by my standard, the tier list. This is what I think the tier list is right now. Salamandrate's the best deck. I think it kind of stands by itself. Tier 2, you have a mix of probably... Well, I'll just kind of off the list. I would say something more Mech Knight hybrids. Trains kind of get their ways in there a little bit, but I don't know if trains are as popular. I kind of put them on like under tier 3 at the moment, but Mech Knights are definitely up there. You know, some people are playing Burning Abyss. I would probably put Burning Abyss as tier 2. I think Burning Abyss is starting to rise in popularity, and that includes BA Infernoid hybrids as well. Tier 3. I would kind of say Infernoids are on tier 3. The cusp of there. I would say the utter cusp of tier 3 is Infernoid. Trains are probably here. Railway, or as much as you, whatever you want to call it. Mermaidian are kind of, it's kind of like high rogue tier 3. But once you start getting to tier 3, it gets a little bit ridiculous. Odd Eyes kind of dropped off. I would say Odd Eyes is high rogue. And then you have your high rogue, which I would say is like Galaxy Eyes, Odd Eyes, DDD kind of gets in there. You might even be able to argue this deck in here as well. Yeah, Heroes get in there as an odd high rogue deck. So, this is what I would come to look for and expect at this point. This is what I would expect to see. as far as what I think is going to be very relevant. I would also throw in Metalfoes as kind of like one of those decks that takes mid to high tier rogue. I'll throw them in there because you can definitely expect to see some of them probably running around at some level of capacity. Okay, so this is the tier list that I would come to expect here. Alright, so that is what I would look for in the KC Cup. Now, how do you go about this? What deck do you pick? Should you pick something else that isn't on this list? Well, what I would look for, and these are the things you want to look for. When building a deck from the KC Cup, this is what I would look for. You want a deck with as much consistency as possible. It has to be. You can't go into something that in when you have to do 300 plus tools and the deck is flippy floppy. Alright. That's where I feel like a deck like Infernity might rely. A, it has to go first, and B, it's kind of flippy floppy. You don't want to go in with a deck like that, in my opinion. You want to go in a deck that has very high consistency. The most consistent deck here is Burning Abyss. It is. BA is very consistent. Very consistent. Why can't I say that word? Salad is also very consistent. Alright, so very consistent. Definitely. Alright. Trains also. Well, especially Salad and BA. Galaxy Eyes is kind of consistent. It's definitely there. Metalfoes also have it. So they all check off, and so does Merlantian. Infernoids are kind of like there too, and Mech Knight. So most days you can see most of these decks generally check that box off. Alright, high consistency. Alright, number 2. B. High power ceiling. What else is a high power ceiling here? Well, Salamangreat, obviously. They're extremely powerful. They can set up a turn 1. They have good resource recursion. Mech Knights, Burning Abyss is definitely there. All 3 of those decks, I think, are the most powerful decks in the meta. I would put Merlantian as having a deck that's very high powered. So that's really good. Alright, C is strictly counters the top tier decks. Does anything here strictly counter the top tier decks? Well, let's see. Infernoid. They all have Graveyard Disruption. What is good for Graveyard Disruption? Well, Infernoid counters Salamangreat. It counters anything that really wants to use the graveyard. Galaxy Eyes, right? If you banish Photon Dragon, they do not like DD Crow. So that's a good counter. So those are 2 decks right off the bat. Even the heroes, if they want a Miracle Fuse, you can banish their targets. You can banish Liquid out of the grave. They will not appreciate that. So there's kind of a few good decks here that could counter. Even Mech Knight. If you counter secrets and you banish whatever they want to summon, no good for them. So you have 4 decks there and instantly really want to use the graveyard. So that's very good. So that's where Infernoids come in. Now, every deck on this list doesn't have to hit every bullet here. But as long as you're hitting the majority of the bullets, then your deck's good. If you hit one of these bullets, then your deck's not so good. Alright? Now, the 4th thing is... Another one is... Does it auto-lose to a single disruption or to a common tech? And what I mean by common tech is not a normal rarity card. What I mean by a common tech is is there a tech in the meta that is played so much that it just dies to? So for example, take Dweller, right? Dweller instantly can counter ancient gears, right, at any moment, but it is commonly played. Is it worth it? Can your deck get past it? I think ancient gears can, to some extent. I think they can to some extent. I think they can definitely win through Dweller. Is it relevant enough? Dweller is very relevant. So, is it the best choice? Might not be the best choice, but it's still a really good choice. Does the deck still have that upside that it gets past it? And remember when I said this, you don't have to hit every bullet on this list. If your other bullets can justify you playing the deck, then you play the deck. Alright? So that's something you have to look forward to. So let's take Ancient Gears, for example. Right? It's not on the tier list, but I'm going to go through this. Alright? I'm going to go through each of these bullets, and we're going to see how many of these bullets we can hit. High consistency? You bet! They have 3 Wyvern. They have 3 Catapult. They have Poly. You damn well bet. That is as consistent as crap. Plus, they float off Ultimate Pound. So, they're going to have recovery as well. It's another bullet that I'm going to add. Alright? Number 2. Do they have a high power ceiling? Yeah. They can OTK at the drop of a hat. They have Megaton Golem. They have a bunch of flotation. They can float, so they can make it hard for Salamangrates to get over them and other decks to get over. Do they strictly counter the top tier decks? I wouldn't say strictly, but they can. And Fortress can help you get past Salamangrates, so that kind of counters the deck. Does it lose to a single disruption or an attack? Can lose to Dweller, but it doesn't completely lose. And even some of these bullets, you're not going to hit them 100% because some of them it's like wishy-washy. And you hit it like half and half. So like, does it lose the single disruption? Kind of, but you can get past it. So, like I said, it's half and half with some of these bullets. So these are the things you have to pay mind to. So, all these bullets, we hit about 3 out of 4. Right? So if you take the 2 halves that we kind of halved and halved on 3 and 4, so you would technically divide those 2 to get 1 bullet, multiply those 2 to get 1 bullet, and say we hit about 3 out of 4 bullets there. So pretty good. You know, it could be a pretty solid choice. Now, let's go to E. Good recovery game. Fast wins. Alright, so these are pretty much all the counters, all the bullets I'm going to put at you. Alright, fast wins can help justify quite a few of these bullets. Because even if your deck is not the most consistent, if you're getting fast wins as opposed to a deck that takes forever to play, then there's benefit in that, because that means you can climb faster and the losses aren't going to hurt you as much, and you can back out of your way out of a bad loss streak. So, you know, bad loss streaks happen to everyone. If you hit one, don't feel bad. These things happen. You lose 4, 5, 6, 6. Sometimes I've seen people lose like 8 to 10 in a row, and it just happens. You can get back up there. The thing you need to do is stop, breathe, and get yourself back together. Because if you're not, if you can't do that, you're gonna struggle in that department. Okay? So these are the things that you need to look out for. Alright. With that being said, in this department, now that we know about the decks, what do you play? Well, we're gonna go over that in personal tips. So stay fun. It's gonna be a long video. I'm trying to cover everything here for you guys. Alright. Now, tips for you yourself. Alright? Alright. Alright. So these are tips to prepare. So let's go over this first. Sleep well before the KC Cup begins. at least 4 to 5 hours. Do not go into the day of the KC Cup looking like before it even began, because you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for failure. Don't do it. Make sure you rest 4 or 5 hours. Get some rest. That way, by the time the KC begins, you're ready to play. Even if that's like during the day of, and you wake up at like 7 o'clock, but then you're fully energized for about 12 to 16 hours, then do that. Like Eastern time, like 4 or 5 hours before the cup begins. If you wake up then you'll be energized for about 12 to 16 hours after that. 2, eat a good dinner before the KC Cup begins, or I should just put meal, because we're all in different time zones. Eat well. Do not, please do not starve yourself. Alright, I see people do this. Do not do it. Alright, eat a good meal. Make sure you're parched. Not parched. Make sure you're full and you feel good. Alright. Make sure to have 3 solid decks. 3 decks that you feel comfortable about playing in the KC Cup. Alright, don't pick a deck because it's the best deck. Don't go and say, well, I'm going to play solid because it's the best deck. And enter a KC Cup and never pilot the deck before it, but you're attempting to play it. You will get outplayed in every mirror. You will get totally destroyed because you have no idea what the deck does or how to operate it. That is the worst thing you could do. I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you a story. Alright? About one of the decks that a lot of people did not know about. But it was a tier 0 deck. You're going to probably say, how do you not know how to play a tier 0 deck? Or tier 1. I should say tier 1. How do you not know how to pilot a tier 1 deck effectively? Well, Crystron was the hardest to pilot tier 1 deck in the game ever to come out. The deck took excessive brain power to power, and most people steered away from it. However, during the KC Cup, a lot of people failed because they wanted to switch to what would be the best deck in the KC Cup, couldn't pilot it, and started throwing away a ton of resources and started losing more games than they won. So, please, I don't care if your deck is rogue. Pick a deck that you feel comfortable playing. Because I can tell you this, you will do much better with a deck that you feel like you can expertly pilot, rather than a deck that you feel like, I can't pilot this at all, and I'm just playing it because it's the best deck. Alright, don't do that. Alright. Next. Play on the ladder to get some practice. Now, you might find bad opponents, and that's okay. That's normal. However, at the very least, you're going to feel more comfortable with the combos and plays you want to make, which is really important. So, mastering down your plays and your play routes are important regardless of how bad your opponent is. Alright, so just keep that in mind. Also, going back to tip number 3. Alright. Don't pick 10 decks for the KC Cup. Don't go say, I can play this. No. Because what will happen at that point is you'll have so many different decks, you won't be able to focus on one deck. You don't want to do, this is going to kind of lead me in tip number 5, but is have 10 different decks for the cup, and then you're all over the place, because then you won't climb it all. 5. Don't change your deck just because you suddenly start losing. I see this all the time in the KC Cup. I see this all the time. You lose 3 or 4 games, and then you give up on the deck, and you say, yeah, the deck's not good anymore. No. Every deck you play, you're gonna hit a losing streak. It is what it is. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. It is. Because if you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. I'm telling you. You have to have confidence in what you're playing. You have to have confidence that if you test with your team, you test with your friends, you test on the ladder, whatever you're doing, tournaments, that whenever you're playing and your game knowledge that can beat the meta, you got up, let's say you hit like 20k, right? And then you hit a bad losing streak. You have to keep playing. Because for you to shoot up to 20k, whatever you're doing is working. You're not going to luck your way all the way up there generally. Alright? So please, don't lose like 4 or 5 games in a row and be like, I'm done with the deck. On to the next 9 decks. Please do not do this. Alright? Stick with the deck. Have faith. If you start to consistently lose after maybe like 20, 30, well, unless you hit a really bad spiral. If you hit a really bad spiral, then I understand. Like, losing like 8 to 10 in a row. But unless you find you can't consistently win anymore, then don't do it. Alright? Give your deck a chance. 6. Rest. In between, I'd say 8 to 12 hour shifts of playing. Maybe 8 to 14 hours shifts of play. If you do not rest, you will not be refreshed, and you will play like garbage. I'm gonna give it to you honestly. If you don't rest, you are not gonna have fun playing the game. If you do not enjoy playing the game and you're tired, you're not gonna care. You're not gonna put effort into it. You're gonna play like garbage. So rest, please. If you get up to a checkpoint, set checkpoints for yourself. We're gonna get to tip number 7. Rest. Say, okay, hit where I need to be. I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to eat before I start playing again, and then I'm going to play. You're going to see when I get up to what I'm going to do on stream, when I start talking about that, you're going to see that I have checkpoints. Okay? We are not going to 40k day 1. I'm telling you that right now. We're going to hit a certain level, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And then we'll continue on day 2, and we'll continue on day 3. We're going for top 100 global. Okay? We're going to try. But we have certain goals for ourselves. We are not going to kill ourselves over this. That's not worth it. Your health comes first, and you need to make sure that you rest. In between everything that you do, please take my advice. Thank you. Alright. Get out of here. Alright. Number 9. 7. Set checkpoints for yourselves. Alright. If you start climbing Casey Cup, right? Now, this is a little bit difficult for people who haven't played the Casey Cup, and this is your first time playing, then you don't know where the checkpoint. But I'm going to tell you. Alright, a good checkpoint on day 1, it depends on the goal you're going for. If you're trying to hit, like, let's say you wanted to, for the first time, I don't think your first time goal should be top 100, but you could try it. You should I don't want to say that because it's like, I want to encourage you to do whatever you could, to be the best at what you can. But let's say you're going for like top 100, in your region. So let's say NA Europe. Then you could stop at like 15k and you'd be okay. So there's less stress playing. Alright? If you are in going for top 100 global, then I would say you want to stop around 25k. And then you're fine. Somewhere around there, you're completely fine. You rest, and you're parched. If you rest, then you get going. If you stop around 24, 23, yeah, it's fine too. This means you have to put a little bit more effort into it, but that's, overall, it's fine. That means if you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to 23, 24K and I'm burned, rest. That would be much better for you than to say, no, let's push the limit and then I'm gonna kick myself. Alright, so that's a good day 1 checkpoint. Day 2, would be probably for top 100 global, 40K. Top 100 regional would probably be around, I don't know, 22, 23K. I'd say 23, 24K. And day 3, if you're at 40K, go for about 53 to 55 is where you want to be for top 100. And then top 100 regional would be around 32, 34 is generally the range you want to be there. And then you're good. So these are the stopping points that I would probably set for myself if I were trying to do this. This is just examples, but I think anywhere around this range is really, really a good point. Sometimes you might do better. You might stop at like 28K because you're rolling. Or you might try to get to 30K day 1 and say, I'm good there. But don't overexert yourself. If you're doing really well, these are good stopping points. Alright? Now, let's go on. Alright, this is where the most important one is. And everybody who I've known in the KC Cup has done this. Alright? Number 8. Tilting. Alright? Now, this happens to everyone. Do not say you've never been tilted in the KC Cup, because I'm not going to believe you. I'm not going to believe you. Alright? In a KC Cup, you will get tilted. It gets occasionally tilt you to the point where you want to quit the game. But you keep fighting on. Those who keep fighting on do the best. Alright? Yeah. It will happen. You will, as a player, maybe curse at the game. You might, well, don't throw your phone. Please do not break any of your electronic devices. Please do not do that. Okay? How do I beat tilting? A, please go out and get some air. Do something you enjoy. Relax. Breathe. Alright. Taking a walk outside, getting some fresh air. I'm going to tell you this straight up. I'm going to tell you this right now. Hold on. Give me a second. Fook. Okay. Give me 1 second. Alright. That's fine, I guess. I'll tell you this right now. If I'm on stream and I'm playing the game, and I'm not tilted, I will walk outside for 5 minutes and I'll take a 5-minute break in stream. And I will go outside and get some air. Because I am not going to get to the point where I get so tilted that I do not want to play in front of you guys. That's going to be very bad. Alright? So please, go outside, get some air, breathe, relax. Alright? Or do something you enjoy. Alright? Take a break from the game. Do not play, and tilt yourself to oblivion. You will misplay. You will not be yourself. You will get angry, and you will start making misplays, which is very bad. Because you don't care anymore. And that's very bad. You do not want to play with that attitude. Not good. Alright, so please relax and don't believe. I'm not going to tell you don't tilt because everyone tilts at some point. You really can't avoid it. But what you can avoid, what you can control is how you respond to it. And that's the most important thing. Alright? You have to respond to it in a positive manner. Alright? B, if you're so tilting, nothing is helping, rest. And then come back. This is another way to get around this. Alright? So this is a great ways to deal with the tilt. Alright? Alright, so tilting is the most important thing that I want to cover. Alright? 9. Make sure you are hydrated. Water, water, water. Or whatever your favorite beverage is. Hawaiian, well, there's a lot of sugar, but it's fine. Whatever you enjoy. Juice, punch, whatever keeps you going. Gatorade, soda, whatever keeps you parched. Well, I don't even know if it's the right word. But whatever keeps you not thirsty. Let's put it that way. Alright. So, please, hydrate yourself. If you have to have food here, eat. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be eating on stream. I'm not embarrassed. I will eat. I got to play this game for 18, 14 hours. I will sit here and have a hamburger combo on stream if I have to. I do this every KC Cup to the hundreds of viewers who will stop in and watch me. I do this every KC Cup. I don't care. I'm not going to play like a zombie because I refuse to eat on stream. I won't. And nobody minds. I'll tell you what we'll do. Is that when I decide to eat, I will watch some replays while we eat. So it's kind of like dinner and entertainment. You guys can talk to me. Ask me any questions. Tell me how you're doing. How your day is. And then we get back to it. It's a good way to take a little break from the game. Which is very good. One other point I want to bring up. 10. Take 5-minute breaks. It's good. 5-minute breaks, occasionally, very good. Go out there, relax, watch the replays. For me, as a streamer, I'm watching replays and keeping you guys entertained. Check the rankings, whatever. 2 to 3 to 5-minute breaks. Get back to it. Playing for 8 hours is a long time. Taking an occasional 5-minute break is a good thing. 8 to 14 hours. When you play this game for about half a day, 5-minute breaks will feel like hour-long breaks. Very good. Taking those breaks, make sure you're mentally ready to go. Okay? So, there's that. Alright. That covers everything pretty much I want to talk about here. I talked about resting. I talked about tilting, deck choices, blah, 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 blah. Alright. I know this video is 45 minutes long, but it's good. I'm not done. I'm going to talk about now, what are my plans for stage 2? Okay? Now you're probably saying, well, this guy has a lot to give out about stage 2. Where is my notepad? Okay. What are my plans for stage 2? How am I going to go about this? Well, I'm going to tell you. I will climb to about, I'd say anywhere from 13 to about 15k off stream. Starting at about 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern, somewhere in that probably time period, I will climb on stream. Stream could be anywhere from 8 to 14 hours long. Could be less, could be 8. Well, it's not going to be less than 8 probably, but somewhere in that range. Alright? Probably around 8 hours. Not really 14, because I'm going to be playing all streams. So probably not around 8 hours, somewhere in that time frame. Alright, so that way, 7 to 8 hours, so that way I can get some rest and do the very advice that I took. Alright, I will not be watching replays unless I'm eating. Or decide to take a break. Don't ask in the middle of stream, I gotta replay, because I'm not gonna redeem it. Unless I eat and take a break and I say, okay, I can watch it. And I don't mind. Alright. Next. I will be streaming all 3 days. I am going for top 100 global. Need to tell you my checkpoints. Remember when I talked about checkpoints? You're gonna recognize these. This is where we want to end up. Somewhere in this. If we don't get top 100, and we get slightly less, I'm gonna be happy with that too. Alright? So I can play all 3 days. Luckily, I don't have a math exam on Monday, or this would end really badly. So, luckily, we are good to go. Alright? So this is my plans. This is why I had my shot last week, so we can play this week. So, we're good. Alright? How do you find me? Is in the Twitch. My link to my Twitch, where I do all my live streams. And comments, because I swear, some people won't find the description, so I'm gonna write comments too. Alright? So, go follow me there. Alright? I will tell you everything you want to know, what you need to know, blah, 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 blah. Alright? So, this is what I'm doing. What am I playing? Likely BA, likely Salamangreat, and probably Infernoids. Those are the 3 decks I've been heavily focused on. I might climb early with Mermellanian. I don't know. But definitely like those 3 to 4 area. Remember when I said don't go beyond 3 decks? I'm not going 10 decks. I have all the decks that I listed there. I have Metaphors, I have Ice, Photon, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing that. Remember I told you not to do that? Don't do that. Because it's going to overwhelm yourself and your brain's going to go... Don't do that. Alright? You need to turn the mind. Alright. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Please subscribe. And please, 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 please follow me on Twitch. Because you can see my whole climb live. You will see me. And if you have... I would love having you guys. Now, there's another thing, too. I am fully open. All stream. I'm going to write this on Discord. That my voice chat will be open. I'm going to have guests on. And this is going to be great. If you jump in stream, you can jump on voice at Discord. So, if you join the Discord through my Twitch, you will be able to jump on voice chat if you want to. There's no pressure. You don't have to do any of that. And I will talk to you. I would love having you guys on voice and talking to me. Because it's a great way to laugh during the King's Cup. Good way to ease things. So, if you guys want to jump on voice, do it. My boy X Mango and my boy Mood, I'm planning to have on. I'm going to try to get other streamers on as well. I'm asking around. But those 2 definitely, and my really good friend Tamaya's, I'm trying to get on as well. So, if you guys want to come through, jump in. I would greatly appreciate that. But until next time, boy Sean Matrai, signing out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow on Twitch. Bye, YouTube.